Hello and welcome to episode 27 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough, cycle 52, day 9, start of a 26-day drought. And last time, we had, shall we say, a challenging experience trying to come back from what was a very stupid error on my part. But we've managed to fix most of it. Still some stuff going to be a little bit rough for the next little while, but we have 3,700 water stored. We only have 76 beavers presently. And we have this reservoir, while it is still really small, it is fully utilized. And we have some pumps, we have some backup pumps, we have some backups to the backups. So I think the risk of running out of water is going to be very low for quite some time. That being said, nothing is ever perfect, and we have made many mistakes. But we have a great opportunity to fix these because we are in a very long drought. And I guess we just go ahead and jump right into it. You guys, in no uncertain terms, let me know that I had made some mistakes in the theoretical design of my eventual irrigation transfer station up here. And I think the best thing that we can do after, well, first of all, just pause that to begin with, all of this construction. After, my fingers are on the wrong part of the keyboard, after this is pumped down a little bit, we can kind of start deconstructing this area. Again, we have 26 days. And what's going to end up happening is we want to separate the bad water from the good water in a way that is not this, so we can, get some of our land back. And I think the best way to do that is going to be to have a single sluice right here, if that's the correct height, which it seems like it is. And then that will just need some help to get off the side here. Remember, if it goes off the edge of the map, the fall limit does not apply, the waterfall limit. And these two together output 6 CMS. One block can have more than that go through it at one point in time. So if this just goes straight off the edge of the map, that'll be totally fine. And then we can have this whole thing actually offset slightly. I did pause all these, right? Good. We can have this whole thing offset slightly so that it's not going straight up from the sources. It just goes up 1 block over, or 2 blocks, or 3 blocks over, depending on how far we want it to go, so that this is completely capped off so all the bad water gets flushed out before it has a chance to be a problem getting into the stack, so to speak. So that we'll get there eventually. Plenty of other stuff to do. We did start kind of outlining what is going to be the reservoir we're going to work with for the next little bit of time, but we don't have a lot of logs because we used most of the wood. But there's tons and tons and tons of logs down here that aren't being cut because we don't have enough beavers. So we're going to need to kind of optimize some of our production stuff. And conveniently, we also need to move our industry out of this area so we can get this corner of the map taken care of. And conveniently, again, this quadrant is more or less, it's not perfectly done, but enough of it's built where I feel like we can start the process of getting all of our industry moved up here. So there's a couple things that are going to need to happen to make that a reality. All of this has to go away, yes, but before it goes away, we have to make sure we have all of the pieces we're going to need to restart at least some of the production and all of the food processed that we think we're going to need, so on and so forth. This is part of the reason why, see, I do plan some of this stuff. Part of the reason why we have a lower number of beavers and we haven't gone crazy fast on getting that number back up, because you have under 100 beavers. That really makes it easy to turn off food production for a while if you have such a huge stash, which we do currently, of 5,000 ready-to-eat food. Now, it's also stored mostly right here, and right here, which isn't great because all of this does have to be rebuilt. But because we have all of that, we're going to be able to just, wipe this whole thing pretty much completely clean and start moving stuff up here. But there's also this issue where the original reservoir has not been completely removed, and all of this is going to have to go away so we can have all of the terrain in place and start building on top of that. So what we will do, just temporarily, to make sure that this isn't a complete disaster, is we're going to have to build storage for everything that is in here. And most of this is empty, mind you, because it's a lot of dirt. We'll just need to have storage for all of these things, which currently is treated planks and metal for the most part. So let's do this. Just pop in some industrial piles. We have to be able to get into this, which for the time being is going to be a little bit suboptimal. We'll have to figure something out, but I want to be able to actually utilize space over here for what we are trying to do. This is going to be temporary. Don't you worry. This is just the easiest, fastest way to get this done. So put that there, put that there. Now if we go up to include all of these things, I love that sound. How many times am I going to say that? This was a mistake to remove all of the tube ways going across here. Yes, I will acknowledge that. However, it was the only way to try to build this, which, again, may have also been a slight mistake. But because we have these tube ways here, we can very simply, very easily, assuming I have this lined up correctly, go ahead and see, there I go again, saying go ahead every single 5 seconds. Just bring these vertical tube ways up to here, and that will get us connected to this tube way, which is, of course, connected nicely to the rest. And it's going to be better than nothing. We'll just go with that. So let's put in treated plank storage. Currently have 711, which is, well, tell you what, let's just get everything out of here that has to get out of here. We'll dedicate 4 of those to that. Scrap metal, one of those is the only thing we're storing in there, and then we have regular metal blocks. Probably put 2 of those, 3. Is it only 3? It looks like it is. Okay, so 3 of those. I know these aren't super incredibly well organized, but we're going to be fine. We're going to deal with it. So I only need 2 of those for planks, and I need... I'll just go ahead and put 2 of these for regular stuff there. Let's get these popped in, prioritized, and then now I have to come in here and mark all of these to empty, which that's going to be a little bit of a task. That is probably not going to be a quick process, but you know how it goes. You can only do what you can do, and don't get twisted out of shape about the rest. So we'll just have this marked and delete it in stages. So there's a lot of stuff I'd like to get done. I'm going to go on record now and say, at the very least, getting this out of the way and starting the process of getting this replaced over here in this corner is going to be one of the more important things for us to do. We will also eventually, maybe not today, but eventually move this thing, completely redesign it, have this go all the way up, so on and so forth. We do have quite a lot to handle in that regard, and I actually made a mistake having this piece of terrain here. That's going to have to go away. But you know how it goes. Is what it is, etc., so on and so forth. Don't need to spend too much more time with that. So let's just make sure that's good there. It's, again, a process that does, in fact, just take time. But I don't want to waste too much of yours. So this is where this is going to be time-lapsed. And we will see exactly how long it will take to get most of the storage moved so we can tear down that corner and start putting the dirt up. I probably, if they can do this pretty quickly, I would like to have all of the dirt put in place before we come back from the time-lapse. But we'll see what happens. I may end up just taking all of that out and then coming out, depending on how long it takes. We'll see what happens. I will talk to you on the other side. Okay, so coming out of the time-lapse so I don't bombard you with another hour and a half stuck into 30 seconds. But we've managed to remove just about all of this. I'm keeping this pylon in place because this provides a direct tubeway connection down to some other areas, and we, of course, are going to continue refining that. But the mine is currently disconnected because of aforementioned reasons, and we've got a little bit of terraforming that we have to take care of here to get everything completely ready to go. And you'll notice I put these overhangs and the suspension bridges back in place to cover the space remaining to be built that was made inaccessible from above due to the tubeways being removed. The rest of this over here we'll deal with in time. But this was the fastest, easiest way I could think of to make that a viable thing for us to take care of. So there's a lot of stuff on the ground. We got lots of logs, lots of planks, lots of everything just kind of piled everywhere. So in the interest of, you know, not sending you guys into apoplectic shock from having this garbage all over the ground, I'm going to prioritize picking that up. I know we do have some stuff just kind of chilling here on the ground in other spots, and that is something we will need to address at another point in time. But still want to keep an eye on, you know, a decent bit of this. So to that end, we will need to put in some more storage. It's also, this is not permanent. It's not staying here forever. That is what permanent means. I just want to have somewhere for this stuff to go because we are going to need a fair bit of it. And it would be a big mistake not to have somewhere for things to just exist. So let's do that. Pop in this other level of storage here. They'll take care of all that. They'll get all this picked up. And then we can proceed to what we are trying to accomplish here. So, what's going to go in this corner, obviously all the way up, should not be an issue. In fact, we can start doing that now. That's a very, 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 very simple one to get into. We're on the 7 spaces this way, 5 spaces this way grid, so that is fine. There's just going to be this piece right here for us to work with. Let's just make a quick check. That is, in fact, in the right place, and that can also come all the way up as well. And that's going to take care of most, outside of that, most of our terrain shuffling that needs to happen. Obviously, we have the efficient mine in a place where it's blocking one of those columns, so we need to engineer around that. Or utilize that space as vertical corridors for moving beavers and materials and all that other fun stuff. And I think that is going to be a pretty easily achievable goal. We can take a look at the side, see the vertical clearance required, and I think we can just build over the top of this with some of these metal platforms when the time comes to do so. But there's so much going on that it's going to take them a while to get that done, and we can kind of leave that alone and come back to it later. Because while this is completely dry, I want to go ahead and redo this entire mess here. And it is a mess. I do apologize for that, but it's going to get better because that's how things work, folks. Just have to make sure that we can cap this off appropriately. Gonna need to do a little bit of finagling to make that happen, but it's not impossible. So we have this structure here all the way around where the source blocks are. That is fine. That can stay just like that. But because of how this is set up, we will need to remove this and this. This is also why these are all individual platforms, because I knew at some point I would have to come over here and redo this. So this will need the 2x1 going all the way to the outside. And then we will also need to have, depending on how we want to do this, these to the side as well. So I just think it makes it slightly neater if we do it this way. And then to this side as well. Remember that this is all kind of dependent on everything else to not be a complete and total disaster. So we just need to be a little ruthless with how we delete stuff for the betterment of everything else. I think that is the best policy to have here. So what we can do, because of how this is set up, we can get one more level out of putting in... Oh, come on. Is there a path there? Yes. All right. We get one more level out of this here. Once this is set there, that'll get nice and connected. And they should be able to get to most of this to get blown up. I got so much stuff that should have been done slightly better at another time that was not done slightly better at another time. And, well, the time is now. There is no longer any excuse. We have enough stuff that has been taken care of. We have enough stuff that needs to be taken care of that we really shouldn't be wasting any more time trying to take care of anything else, if that makes sense. And we do still have 16 days before water comes back. Don't worry. It's going to be done by then. I'm just trying to get a bunch of stuff accomplished all at once and let these beavers take care of what they need to take care of. We're not at the point where we can get rid of this yet, which is why we haven't gotten rid of it yet. Just trying to make do with what we can here. So I'm going to deprioritize the construction of these earthen pillars here. Obviously, they can't get to all of this right away, but if in the construction of some of these other things we can clean up some of this mess, that I think is a smart choice to make. Are there great direct connections between these two areas? No, but it doesn't matter because that's not going to matter in the future, so it doesn't matter now. Just have to get it all taken care of. And because of the way that this is now developing, I feel pretty comfortable putting this stuff back, at least along this side here. We're only going to need to have that taken care of. We just need to make sure that the tubeways get put in correctly all the way across, so those guys can build that way. This one, not quite so much. Having this on the edge here will really, really help us out a lot. This middle bit can be achieved through other means. So let's do ourselves a favor and have them expedite this process. These water pumps can now go away. It looks like these are no longer pumping either. I'm not going to get rid of them, but oh yeah, we can turn these guys on right here. These, not quite yet, but I will unpause them so that when they become uncovered, they will work. We'll pause these. It helps redistribute our labor force a little bit better. We are up to 90 beavers, which, again, totally fine. Just trying to slowly and sustainably rebuild what we're working on here. Somebody in the comments last video, I'm just remembering now, also said that I was missing these terrain blocks, and now that is no longer the case. I'm just trying to do this one bit at a time, waiting to get a couple more things completely taken care of here. This terrain block and then all of its dependents right here before this gets replaced, because the beavers famously cannot build through terrain. We want to make sure the terrain is taken care of where it needs to be taken care of. B for boom. I pressed V for voom, apparently. B for boom. There we go. That means that can go away, and now this level is taken care of. We do still have some here that will be dealt with at a later point in time, but now we can actually build this across. And because of the way our reservoir is set up, I can actually take this corner piece out, which means this can now become an earthen pillar again, which also means this can be connected. And that will solve a lot of, a lot of problems. Now we come in here with the 2x1 overhang. Again, the reason for this is so we can completely decouple the bad water, not have to worry about any of that mess. We'll just have this go all the way across here, all the way across here, all the way across here, and then this sluice, of course, goes right here. This will close below contamination and open all other times. And because these are whatever the water equivalent of acoustically transparent is, that's what these source blocks are. Water can flow through them, as we learned in our Water Beavers playthrough. And since there is no elevation change before it gets to the edge of the map, this should have no problem getting rid of everything. We will test it with clean water before it becomes a potential game-ending disaster with bad water, but I'm 99% sure that's going to be fine. So now underneath this level, we unfortunately cannot have this be dirt because all of these guys right here are going to pollute downward. So it's going to be a little weird on the amount of dirt that's actually able to be, brought forth from anything here. But that is not the most important thing I'm trying to solve right now. It is just one of many challenges that we're facing here. Let's put in levees across this way and then this way as well. We will need to have not necessarily a complex structure, but definitely a structure in this general area taking care of all of this. Theoretically, this sluice would be fine here, but because of how this is set up, I'm going to choose to put these two here. We're going to close above contamination and then turn this other one off that should never be enabled by default. And then what we'll do is platform here, overhang here, and then on top of that, impermeable floors, and then on top of this here, and then on top of this here. And now we will have, once this is completely done, a 100% waterproof thing, which I'm also realizing won't need to have this be entirely across the way, so on and so forth. You just need to be able to have water go where it needs to go. I also now realize I have made a mistake. This is why we do this way, so we can identify our mistakes and operate accordingly. This is going to need to be, however far out we're having this water column go. I think this only needs to be 4. In fact, I should have done this before, so this could be less of a problem. Let's take a second to pause. Just remove all of this and do it correctly before it becomes a major issue. See, we can learn. We can learn. We can have a little bit of a heart-to-heart here. So I want to get this extra piece of land back because it's going to allow me to have a little bit more coming out this way from these pylons here. So all of this has to go away. Yes, I know. After all that. But doing it correctly is always going to be important. And we're not going to need to have this here, so that gives us an opportunity to get rid of that. Yeah. Good stuff. Let's put in this corner piece correctly here. Remember, we're doing 4x1s, which we do still need to have this here, but we didn't need to have that extra jog to go to this tile that you can't see. So that will get us there. If I have to redo this, please do not flame me. I'm learning in real time. I'm doing my best. I'm trying. What's the Mr. Meeseeks, whatever. I know, stopped watching that show after like season 2. At any rate, impermeable floors here. We have to put in the levees here. Well, we don't technically need to, but we will. And then this going this way, we don't technically need to, but we will. This here. Now, I know I don't have to have this go all the way across 4 wide to build our little column, but I'm going to do it anyway because it looks better, and we're going to have enough wood, so it shouldn't be an issue. The challenge now, we have 11.5 days. This must be able to be constructed to the full height that we are attempting to reach, or at least to connect to some part of this, in addition to this being, you know, actually set up correctly before the water comes back. Alternatively, if that's not feasible, we just have to have whatever height this gets to with a little spillover to go down into this thing, and it'll be just fine. Just have to know our limits and not exceed them. So now that we have that memorandum of understanding distributed, signed, sealed, so on and so forth, I think we're going to be fine. Now, is it necessary for me to put a cap on this? Probably not. Am I going to do it anyway? You better believe it. So let's have them do this. Take care of that. I think I should probably prioritize every scrap of this so that can be safely built. And yeah, okay, they're making some nice progress over here. Things are looking pretty good. Now, this also needs to be detonated. 2 blocks. So we can take our double dynamite here. And because of how this is set up, that will fit perfectly there. Then we can come back with all of our dirt to finish that at a later point in time. But this is much more important because this is potentially game-ending if we make terrible choices here. So it's possible that this is not the most efficient or best or most identical to your suggestions design, but I think it's going to work, and it's going to be close enough. It's also going to allow us to have this level mostly engaged here. I'm very tempted to try and get this Oh, this shouldn't communicate pollution anyway. Well, we'll give it a shot. If it does, then I get to be wrong, and that's nothing that you guys haven't seen before. But I really, really hope this can actually work the way I want it to, because that would be pretty sweet. It would be pretty cool if it did. I think this should be fine. This is kind of equidistant between all this. Just got to let them do what they got to do. Hopefully they can get that done. There we go. Just one piece at a time, folks. One piece at a time. Okay, good. They haven't put any dynamite there yet. So, for the time being, we have 10 days left. Let's think pragmatically here. This, with the exception of this very end side piece here, can be constructed up to the height that we want without it being a huge issue. So let's give them a chance to go ahead. Remember, it's only... That's not where that's supposed to go. I need to stop ending sentences halfway because you guys can't hear what is in my head like I can. That's probably good. But I'll build this wall first. Yes, I know I don't need these corners. I'm going to put them in there anyway because I want to. It's fine. I will have to remove this to build it up the rest of the way, but I figured it would be smart to have this for the time period that we are going to have it. Now, we also can't get to this bit from above because it is currently in the way. I guess that's fine. There are also, additionally, those of you who have assured me that the vertical capacity of a column is 8.8 CMS. And this is the part where I make either the best decision of this playthrough or the worst one. I kind of want to try and see if I can get away with the single column here. Because the combined output of both of these is not 8.8. And until the water has somewhere it has to fall from, it doesn't matter. Because it'll just come through no matter what. So, I think, you know, for the love of the game, I'm going to trust you. We're going to find out together in real time if that was a mistake. Please don't make that be a mistake. I am not begging you. I am gently and carefully requesting that you please don't make this be a mistake. I'm going to give it... It probably doesn't need too high to make this happen, but I'm going to give it too high, and then I'm going to have this just go up, and up, and up, and up, and up. And that, fortunately, will be able to have something be built upon it once we get the height that we want for this. I just... I'm very risk-averse as a person in general, and in a high-stakes kind of situation like this, I start to have regrets really, really quick. But I think we can make this work. So, this, at this height, is about as tall as the map will let us go. We have an opportunity. Also, do I have the two-way bridge mod still, or did I get rid of that? I think I disabled that. That's fine, because I wasn't planning on playing with it anyway. But if I had it, then maybe I could have used it. These two-ways can be removed. And we can go back to having a slightly taller setup here. Give me some time here to kind of figure out what the heck my brain's trying to do with this. Because I want to cantilever this out, but I want it to be taller so I can actually... Wait a second. No, that doesn't matter because this isn't in the way anymore. Ugh, my poor brain. This needs to be... How did I get into this situation in the first place? That's the real question here. Like, how is this lined up this way? Because that is the maximum height of the terrain. So this actually can be removed down to here, and then that can be a, what do you call it? At that height, which it is supposed to be. And then now, again, Just bear with me here, folks. Bear with me here. I'm trying. I'm really trying. That can, at the very least, get put over to this area, which should be... Oh, I don't think they can build this in 7 days. Oh, so many mistakes. So many mistakes were made. Well, you know how it goes. Let's just roll with this. I think that should, you know, handle most of the stuff. To get this built, we will go up. But before we do, we will have to make the decision on emergency diversions here. I should, in fact, go ahead and get that set up because it's already 6 days, and I know this isn't going to be realistically possible to achieve here. Ah, okay. All right. Stop talking about it. Just do it. Yes? Okay, you got it. This is going to be really ugly, and I'm going to have to ask that you just kind of deal with it. Because this is the situation in which we find ourselves. This has to go here. I'm going to... You know what? No, we're not cavemen. We have technology. We have the 3x3. I'm just going to do that. But it's going to have to be... I'll tell you what. Let's make this as easy as possible for right now. Just do this. And let's put in the thing that we know for absolute sure will work. You know, actually, this doesn't need to have a sluice here. It can just be straight up slinging down the side. No, I will not answer any further questions about the use of that terminology. Okay. That will go directly into this part of the hole here, and then it can just refill that. That is our... That doesn't need to be... whatever. That's our safe option. We will test it. If it does not work, we will have to make very quick changes. But I am reasonably certain that's going to function just fine to refill this without further issue. Now we take this all the way down. Did we use all the water? I guess we did. Okay, well that is fortuitous timing. Because now we have 3,800 water. We have 6 days. In those 6 days, these beavers will consume roughly a third of this, maybe slightly more. That means we're going to start this cycle, the next one, with about, let's say conservatively, 2,300 water. If we build additional storage before that, again, this is an ever-changing, just constantly evolving mess that I am attempting to figure out in real time because that is the brand I have committed to for better or worse. We need to have water. So I'm going to put in additional tanks. They can pump as fast as they can. No gingerbread men required. How in the world did DreamWorks get Lord Farquaad approved as the name of the villain? Doesn't take a genius to figure out what that was supposed to say. But I digress. Oh, there's so much Shrek lore that is just absolutely fascinating stuff. Let's put these here. Try to, you know, prepare ourselves as best as we can. There we go. 6 additional tanks of 1,200 apiece. Once these are complete, we should have the materials to build this. Gears-wise might be an issue, but that won't be too difficult to deal with. Now, I'm going to resist the temptation to build additional stuff. I'm going to unpause the gear workshop that should have been running this whole time. And that's going to help them build more of these. Remember, this doesn't have to be ready to go immediately at the start of the next cycle. We just want to have access to it eventually. We want to be able to pump all of this as fast as possible. In fact, I have those other pumps already going. They can't pump anything, but we have all these extra beavers that aren't working, so I'm just going to turn all these pumps on. And they can figure it out. They should be able to pump pretty quickly. The number, I think, for eternal pumping with absolutely zero water wastage by flowing off the map is substantially higher than our current population, so we're not going to worry about that. Just going to let them do what they've got to do. And now that this has been, I am pretty certain, dealt with in a way that is going to be satisfactory to all parties involved, we can finally move on to doing some other stuff. And I want to make sure I don't make these episodes too long. We've already talked about this, but that has taken care of that in spectacular fashion. We also need to get this... easiest way is just going to be to triple blast this and then rebuild it. So this goes this way. This goes this way. This goes this way. This goes this way. If I keep saying it that way, then someone's going to hunt me for sport, and we've already decided that is not a good use of your time or mine. Well, I think so at least. You might think it's a fun activity, but I'm going to ask you to please consider not doing that. Okay. That will go in there. And since we have unfettered access, what a great word, access from above, we can easily pop all of this terrain in and then start on the next bit of the corner there. Now our total capacity is 8,500, give or take a little bit. We may or may not be able to even fill that, but with the amount of beavers that we have, and this is rapidly increasing, we probably should take a look at which pods are paused. Okay, those are all paused. So I guess it's just these 9 over here. Pumping out beavers like it's going out of style. Alright, well, you know, that's a thing that happens anyway, so I guess that's fine. 3 days until we find out if this ends up working the way we want it to. I am honestly pretty excited to see. Now, I'm just so happy this is actually working out nicely. I was admittedly a little bit worried, as one does, because, you know, a lot of you guys who comment on these videos have a better understanding of the game than I do, which is objectively kind of hilarious considering this is technically my full-time job. But, you know, everybody has different things that they're good at in life, and math is not one of mine. So I appreciate those of you who did comprehend all of that stuff, lending your knowledge to make these videos slightly better. And I'm glad this actually goes over right here. I was kind of worried that wasn't going to fit. Slowly making stuff work. I am very happy with how things are progressing here. So let's take a break from that, and instead, keep in mind we've been dumping water into this the whole time. The idea is that this reservoir gets filled, and then this one can get eliminated. But for the time being, we need to have more wood popped into this. So that is where we are with this. I can actually just continue stacking all of this because now there's no access issues, or there's no possible access issues. We're going to run into clearance issues. Okay, well 3 high will be a start. There's not going to be any water in here this cycle. The next cycle, yes, if all goes well, but we want to have this ready to go before then. And I do hear you guys in the comments asking, well, why are you making this so wide? Well, the idea is that it's going to be, if nothing else, all the way around the middle bit here. I might just leave the 10 to the outside on all 4 sides instead of 2. We'll see what happens. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 here. And I didn't plan this. I probably should have. But this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, yes. I accidentally did it correctly. Okay. Well, I shouldn't get rid of this yet, but at some point I will have to fix this corner. But if this, all the way around the center here, ends up working like I think it will, then that would be best. Because we could have everything around the outside, so on and so forth. We're figuring this out as we go. It's fine. It's always been fine. We just need to accept that, and honestly, it's mostly me who needs to accept it, because I feel like I'm constantly one stupid mistake away from everybody deciding, I don't want to play with you anymore, like a Toy Story kind of thing, and then going to watch somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So, I appreciate your patience, and I'm very thankful for whatever time you choose to spend watching my videos. when there's so many other people who honestly are a lot better at the game than I am. But I think we have our own special brand of fun here, and I'm very glad that we get the opportunity to do that. All right, half a day until we find out if this, I don't even know what the word is for this, is actually going to be working. I really, really, really hope it does. But in that time, we've managed to put in a lot of terrain here. We've put in not really that well organized storage, but it is accessible. We've got plenty of this new-ish reservoir being constructed. And once all of the dirt is in over here, I guess we might have a chance to start moving some of this. The construction of this replacement thing, absolutely not happening this episode, so sorry for that. But that could be a good thing to handle next time. We can start building additional industry up here pretty easily and then think about moving other stuff. But here we go, cycle 53, day 1. We should be seeing some nice clean water come through here. I may have found a problem. I didn't put impermeable floors anywhere. That really sucks. Am I even going to be able to fix this? Okay, that needs to absolutely not be checked. Close above. I didn't set this up at all. Oh boy. So the water is currently going all the way down and out into the very bottom of the map. I think now this has been a tremendous disaster. Because I can't can't build the impermeable floor because there's stuff in the way of the impermeable floor being built. Okay, let's well, it's a good thing this happened, not in a bad tide. I'm gonna have to do this the stupid way, and I'm angry. Okay. These, at the very least... Oh, I can't even see. These impermeable floors and these impermeable floors have to be a thing. This is open all the way from the top. They should be able to build this. They might... you know what? Actually, they might have been able to build this the whole time, and I'm just looking like an absolute idiot, but wouldn't be the first time. Okay, that and that. Let's just hope they can get this done quickly so we can test out this nonsense. Okay, now it's flooding a different part of the map. Okay, permeable floor. Is this actually done? I think it is. Okay, we should see this. Oh, nope, it's going to back up here. Of course it is. For those of you currently yelling at your computer screens, you have my permission to turn the video off and go watch cat videos for 10 minutes and then come back. I'm not going to be angry. Just take care of yourself first. It's very important. Now that I've given that disclaimer, let's hit 3x speed again and, you know, just let this chaos play out until they're able to put the cap on. It shouldn't be too much longer now. Alright, come on. Impermeable floors. We just need these 4 popped in, and then all of this will be solved. Oh, these poor coffee bushes. Holy crap, does it work? It does! Amazing! The design actually works when I build it correctly. Okay. Now, because I did say... Oh, no. I forgot about the edge. Okay. Easy way to solve this. Take out this levee. Now we have 3 edges. There we go. Okay. It just reminded me of those monster truck promos from the 90s or whatever. It's like something something. You'll buy a seat, but you'll only need the edge. Or I'm not a whatever promo announcer guy. Oh, for crying out loud! You know... See, this is the part where I actually, like, feel tremendous shame. Oh, this doesn't have a, doesn't have an impermeable floor. That would probably help. Let's do that. That should, hopefully, solve our problem. Alright, did that balance correctly? It is still very, 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 very high. But it's no longer doing that. Ignore all the flooded buildings down here. You know, man behind the curtain, etc. I regret to inform you that we now have to test the diversion thing here. So, closed. Open. Let's try it out. Amazing. It actually works. Oh my god, yes. Now, I do see a slight problem with this, and that is that the amount of height in this column is large. What language are you speaking? I don't know. This ideally should not be this high when there's bad water coming out of the bottom, so we may need to adjust the opening and closing of this. Well, now that we know this works, that's fine. So ideally we want this one, you know, I could have just made this too wide, but I wanted to try it. That's on me. I need this to be open before this closes and close after this opens. I can't do that without another mod, so I'm going to have to mess with the sluices. Close below contamination 1%. If I have this close below 2%, then that will have it open longer than this because this is currently set to 1%. I think that's probably fine. Well, at the very least, we know it's not going to overflow bad water into here. It just then becomes an issue of how much gets flushed out. Does it integrate into the column with more pollution into clean stuff or not? But for right now, this has demonstrated that it is actually a viable design. So back we go, slight overflow. It'll equalize, maybe. Okay. New, better idea, which I can't believe I just now remembered. I can just cap this and pressurize it, and then it can only come out the end. Someone is absolutely pounding their keyboard screaming, "Thank you. I want you to know that I care about you," and so on and so forth. It's okay. You might need to buy a new keyboard, but it's going to be okay. So they're going to take care of that. We have all of this in place. Our water's actually getting depleted faster than it's being pumped, which is interesting because, okay, this is still... Okay, those at the bottom are flooded. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to do. I have 13. No, not 13. I have 11 pumps. How in the world did I do that? I have 11 pumps pumping. They are prioritized by haulers. They do not really have a good place to dump water outside of these things right here, which I guess is okay. But the fact that this is showing as depleting is concerning, I guess I should say. Oh, this is... Whoa, hold on. Oh, no. How did I manage to forget about this? So, all of the extra water is just flowing out the back here, which... How does this always happen to me? I swear. It's not currently a problem. It's just really not ideal. Because now this triple platform is what's holding up this. And I can't get away with Can't get away with doing this. What is going to be the best way to handle this? I basically just need to put stuff across the backside here, which... Oh, wait. Hold on. There's no way this is actually going to work like this. No way. Not a chance. Not a chance. Surely this can't actually work. Well, I wanted that to be, you know, dirt anyway. Can they, yeah, they can build this like that. That would be tremendous if that actually solved this issue. And I think it just might, folks. Just might. I love it when a plan comes together, even when it wasn't my plan. Oh, this feels good. Okay. Get these last couple terrain blocks in place, and then I think we'll be in business, folks. The water has mostly leveled off. Now it's going up slightly. I really would love to have this completely full by the end of our temperate cycle. I know that's probably not going to happen. But we have made tremendous progress, and now it is actually going up enough to have the green arrow. Love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. Now that we have essentially made this as good as it's going to be for a little bit of time, we can finally come back over here where we're continuing to put in the rest of the terrain. Thank you very much for your patience. I do genuinely appreciate it. Oh, there's our drought warning. Just in time. Just in time. So, to avoid having made myself a liar, I am going to go ahead. There we go again. Sheesh. Going to get the rest of this put in place. Do the next couple of levels here, and then we will start moving the terrain, or the industrial stuff up here. I'm not going to get rid of this until the stuff is in place. But we can have a rudimentary setup to do basic processing to hold us over while we work on building up this area. We can put engines in. We have plenty of logs. It's not going to be an issue. Just get that and that and that. 2,900. We've got 2.5 days. Probably this is a situation where having the 24-hour working would be the smart choice, but I honestly think it's going to be fine. Famous last words, right? That should help. Just that corner bit, and then I do have to remember to put the rest of these in place, going around whatever we're going around. That's fine. We're up to 3,000 water, which, need I remind you, up until we built all of these extra tanks, was basically the full capacity was like 4,000-ish. Now we have almost 11. And it's only going to keep going up as they continue building things. So, overall, I'm sitting here looking at the OBS counter. It says an hour, 4 minutes. I know some of that's going to be gone due to time-lapsing, maybe about 10, 15 minutes worth. But I think we can be pretty happy with having some sort of solution in place for this that allowed us to put our scaffolding back in place. Slightly better organization of stuff here. Now that this is done, this is the maximum height of all this mess here. We no longer need to have these. That can go away, because all of this terrain has been successfully constructed. Now we just have these bits to pop in, and then see what we can, you know, do about having the space over the mine accounted for, which I think I probably can account for with this. We'll just see what the game wants to allow me to do here. Missing the support in the middle here is going to be a problem, but we'll do what we can. Then I'll have to have this thing in the middle here. But I feel pretty good about where we are. Obviously, still more to get done. I just have to let them, you know, complete the process. But could definitely have gone a whole lot worse. And now we have a slightly better idea what we're doing with the center of the map. I think we can We can just move on from that point. Okay, so crucial things to move. We need to have plank production, which I think is currently turned off. Planks and gears and metal smelting. Absolute mission critical things. Because remember, we have some storage here. It's not super organized, but if we have lumber mill, output every hour. Oh, let's not go by hour. Let's go by finished product. Every 0.63 hours, we will have 2 planks. I think that will be fine, considering every 3 hours this will use 1 plank. And I probably should have 2 of these, so every 3 hours it will use 2 planks. And then every 3 hours this will produce more than 2 planks. That should be okay. 2 gear workshops. Taken care of. Problem solved. So now what we have is we have 240 HP plus 75 plus 75, so 240 plus 150. Math, let's call it 400. I know that's not technically correct, but it's close enough. That will need to be powered by an engine, which we can attach pretty much wherever we want. We just have to be careful about it. Let's actually... maybe I should have done this slightly differently. Nah, that's fine. Why is the game paused? It helps me think. Next question. Yeah, let's just... For the time being, remember this is not permanent. This is just getting us somewhere where we can actually produce stuff. It's going to be fine. You put that there. This guy obviously is not going to fit here or here because somebody wasn't paying attention when he put the stuff down. But this will go here and will go here. That will get us absolute mission critical stuff working. And then we can slowly get some other stuff popped in here as is appropriate. But now it's drought times. Let's find out just how screwed we are. Okay, 16 days. Good. That's going to be fine. We already have enough water to last most of that. Kind of. And we know we can pump all of this out, and I have the rest of these enabled, ready to go. Now, what's going to be really fun is removing these. Let me click, please. I gotta pause the game again. Removing these, because that's going to require space, or this is going to require space. I can't even talk today. And remember, the purpose of these was to facilitate terrain construction, and the terrain here is already constructed. And it's almost constructed here. Once again, sorry for the mouth noises. I kind of can't control how moist my mouth is, and I've tried to do some stuff about it, but some of it's going to slip through. That's just the way it is. I hope you can understand. If we get everything connected here, remember we do have to put in a pylon on the top of something here, then we can remove this entire half of tubeways all the way up to this one. So that is 8. 8 of those can be gone because we won't need to have actual terrain construction. We won't need to remove this one to build up this half of the dam. That will be fine. What is this waiting on? Of course it's waiting on gears. Okay. Can't be mad about it. That's fine, but I'm going to pause these 2 large tanks because I guarantee you that's where those were going to go. I need to wrap up this episode bad. So let's... I'm sorry I keep pausing the game, but it helps me think. We need to put... Okay, what is... Okay, that's supporting this. That's going to go away. It doesn't matter. We need to approximate a support beam at this location. So the easiest thing for us to do is going to be to pop in... I'm guessing a double will work. Let's go for the 3. No, double is not enough. Let's try a triple. Right here. Is that going to work? It is. All right, so that is going to then receive, at least temporarily, that all the way up, which will then allow us to come in on each of these levels that it can actually reach and try to build outside from there, which, you know what? That's the wrong level. How could I have been so careless? This can go here. This can go here. This is a support for the tubeway that will be gone eventually, so I'm not messing with it right now. Famous last words. That will go here. And then that will go across the way here. They should have no problems building that. Assuming this has to be built in the correct order so that can even exist in the first place. Shouldn't be a problem. They've got access to this from above. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, they're already started with that. Alright, cool. So I'm going to get the rest of this laid out as best as I can. Hopefully... oh, this doesn't need to be set up like this. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a tremendous mess. Can you tell I wasn't even thinking about this earlier? It should be pretty obvious at this point. But it is what it is. That's going to go away. Then I think I can actually fill all of this in. Yeah. There we go. I just have to have all of this popped in. Actually, it looks like they already did. Oh boy, I love it when good things happen. So then that will go in there. That's not what's supposed to happen. Get out of here. That'll go in there. That'll go in there. That'll go in there. And then I think they can reach the rest of it. Okay, that's not reachable. Why is that not reachable? Is that because I took the stuff out? It almost certainly is. There is no easy, good access, so we'll have to give it to them. That takes care of that. And then I only have one more level above that, and then all of this to take care of. So I'm going to time-lapse it, so we can have the mercy of, you know, not having to sit here and watch me do this for another 10 minutes, save you guys a little bit of time, and save myself a little bit of unfocusing. And that's going to be that. When we come back, then we will have, of course, our end-of-episode stuff. You already know how this goes. We'll see you on the other side in just a brief moment. All right, so most of it's taken care of. Not quite all, because I forgot to put that in there. But once we have absolutely everything taken care of, then the rest of this can get brought back in. There's some support pieces missing, but... how many times will I say but? This entire structure of this quadrant, minus these pieces we already talked about, is ready to go. And we can start moving more stuff up here as we have the ability. But now we have 2 gear workshops, 2 industrial lumber mills, and an engine powering up here, which means we can start the process of removing all of this garbage next episode. And now that this is in place, we have another 11 days. I think in that span of time, I could manage to extend this up even more. Get up as far as we can here, and then pipe it over to the top of this reservoir, which will have to have some way of getting stuff in and out, which I have not yet devised. But I'm going to say this is, you know, about as good as I could have done without, you know, doing a whole bunch of cuts and going back and forth between testing worlds while recording, which I don't really care to do, because that's not really how I play the game anyway, and I don't want to, you know, misrepresent what's going on. So, next episode, you guys have to hold me to this. We're going to get rid of all this garbage here. We're going to rebuild this, and we're going to get the new reservoir up and running in a much, much better state. But for now, things are looking great. As best as they could, given the circumstances. And I feel very, very happy with how things have progressed. So, this is, excuse me, the time where we end the episode. You already know, Beard Boosters directly subsidize the way we do these videos without having to do sponsors and without having to try to chase the algorithm. Just, hey, let's see what we can get done today. Let's assign a project. Let's assign a goal. Let's have fun playing the game, and let's move on to the next. That's always how I want to be doing these videos. I don't want to try to sell you headphones or frozen food or whatever. I just want to have fun with the beavers. And those folks make it possible. Genuinely cannot do it without their support. A very, very thankful boy. My mouth is wet. I'm going to have to go eat something here in a little bit. But I digress. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, have a fun and a safe time. And we'll see you back on this series, Saturday's video, and with the water beavers on Friday. And then tomorrow, Thursday, we've got some more colonies to check out. Lots of cool stuff on the way, folks. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.